Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Valerie J. Lewis Coleman. This is the first time I have been live on StreamYard in almost a year, and I am excited to be here with not one, but two best-selling authors. Woohoo! Dr. Stephanie Krah and her co-author, goddaughter, Rowan Lemons. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
Now we have a slight lag in our system. I know we're going to charge the technology because this is beyond my realm of expertise. How about that? But if you have questions or comments, somebody's already posted a comment. Well, hello there. BD Brown says, hello, ladies. Do y'all know Miss BD?
Yes, I do.
Well, great. Well, hi, Miss BD. Thank you so much for being here and joining us today. So I am excited to be here with Dr. Stephanie Krah and Rowan Lemons and their book, The Astounding Faith Adventures of Abraham and Aurora. When I tell you now, I've published 185 authors now. I was so excited when I got this book because I love the fact that the characters time travel into the biblical time, and the characters, Abraham and Aurora and their dog Rosie, get to meet all these biblical characters. Why? To teach about faith. I think it's amazing the way you ladies pulled your ideas together to show children, young people, how God operates in faith. I absolutely loved it. When I tell you I enjoyed this book, I've published a lot of books. I really enjoyed this one. So thank you so much for sharing with me. So Dr. Krah, tell us a little bit about why you and Rowan wrote this book and how you started the process of even writing. What was that process for you ladies?
Well, thank you once again, Ms. Coleman. It's been an amazing experience. If you have not picked a publisher, you need to go with Queen Bee Publishing because she's amazing. So, as it relates to this, I had never had thoughts about writing a children's book. All of the books that are writings I've done in the past have been focused on adults, spiritual journeys that from my life. And I had an idea. I said, I should write a children's book. I believe it was prompting by Holy Spirit to say, write a children's book. And I'm like, a children's book? I don't know about that. So I had asked Rowan's mom, I said, I think I'm supposed to write a children's book. Would Rowan want to do it with me? And so she asked Rowan, and then we began our process. And that was like, I want to say around April of maybe 2020. And I just had no clue. And then later at the end of that year, I was speaking with someone and had received just some, spiritual confirmation that I was supposed to write a children's book. And I said, okay, God, this is what we must to do. And so it just has gone on from there, and then engaging Rowan. And yeah, that was the prophet. I had no desire in my life to write a children's book, but God saw otherwise. And here we are.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful that you heeded the call. He sent confirmation just in case you didn't get it, and then you move forward in it. Because a lot of people are called to do things and they don't do them. And my whole objective for myself is that when I stand in front of him, I want him to say good and good. What? Whoa, Lord. Well done, good and
Well
faithful
done.
servant. I want him to say that for me. And I want everything he put in me, I want out. I don't want to leave anything on the table, right?
For
So now
sure.
I know we have a little bit of a lag with Rowan. So Rowan, I want to ask you, how was it working with your auntie Stephanie on this book?
I mean, it took a while, but it was really fun for me, and I think that she had a lot of fun too.
It was fun. What do you think was the most fun part?
I think it might have been when they first found the box and stuff, because it was really funny how they reacted to me sometimes.
So, whose idea was it to have this? I don't want to give away too much information, but this box that they would fall into this portal and go to another time. Whose idea was that?
It was mine.
That is Rowan. That's wonderful. Now let me ask you this: was it a book, or how did you get this idea? Did the Lord just give it to you? I'm just so tickled.
I mean, I watched a show called Superbook, and it kind of gave me some ideas,
Mhm.
like how, but like with Superbook, they just like go on adventures but with technology. But I thought that would be cooler with a box because it's more just like normal, less technology like.
Well, that was very smart of you. Very uh,
Thank you.
intuitive. I hope I'm not using the wrong words or too big of words. You know what intuitive means? Words you don't understand.
I could use it in the context.
But so intuitive means you thought about it, it made sense to you, it felt good, you figured it out. Intuitive, you used your brain to process what you wanted the story to be. Absolutely. Great, great, Rowan. So we had a couple people place their post comments. They're excited about the book, can't wait to read it. So now you talked about you wrote the book and the experience you had in writing it. Tell me this, when we first started, there were no illustrations. And then somebody had the brilliant idea to add the illustrations. Whose idea was that, Dr. Stephanie? And tell me about that process of getting the illustrations included.
Yeah, I mean, when I thought about a children's book, um, in my mind, once again, having only experience of writing more for adults, I'm like, okay, we just read words, but I'm also a very picture like person that visualizes. And so when I was talking to Rowan, and then she started showing me different books that she had, because I didn't want it. I was trying to think to myself, okay, if we have pictures, would that be too young, like too kiddie? And not appeal to someone her age. But she just started showing me the different books she had on her shelf. I'm like, okay, we could do illustrations.
Mhm.
And so that process, uh, due to one, I would say the guidance from you, Ms. Valerie, on how to kind of figure that out. Using different websites. There's a lot of different platforms that have folks who are illustrators just promoting their work. And so I was just trying to think through how we could find an illustrator. And I was actually at work one day, and I went to an event at my job, and there were some college students who were showcasing their artwork. And so I was able to connect with a couple of young ladies that attended uh, one of the colleges that I worked for in Chicago, and then went through that process. Illustration, I think that's the fun and both fun and stressful part of the process, because it's like you have in your mind what you're seeing, these characters look like. Talking to Rowan, like, what do we want it to, like, how do we want folks to look, and trying to pull pictures of examples. And it was like it was a very fun process, but also one that was a tad bit more pulled on my creative juices a little bit more than I had thought it would. So yeah, that process was fun, stressful, but we made it.
Yes, and like you said, even though the illustrations in the book are simple sketches, they're not full color. So let's be clear, this is a children's chapter book. So the images that are in there are not full color, but they are sketches that help tell more about the story. That process with any children's book that has illustrations is time consuming and tedious, as you mentioned, Doc. Conveying what you have in your head to the illustrator so that they capture your vision is can be very challenging, but you did a great job. I mean, the images are all in the right places. They're not overbearing. They don't take away from the story. They just help to elaborate on the story. So you ladies did a great job, and I'm glad that you decided to add the images actually. And you said a couple things that I think is important for aspiring authors to understand. And Rowan said it as well. She read a lot of books, and then you said you researched other books. Both of those components are essential for successful publishing so that you make sure you understand, what it takes to publish a good book, what makes for a good book, what should be in the book, what shouldn't be in the book. All that rolls in together. Absolutely. So now this is my first time actually meeting Rowan. We've chatted. I think no, I've only talked to her through her auntie Stephanie. I don't think I've actually had a conversation with Rowan. So I'm excited she is here. They are based out of Chicago. Her auntie now is in Ohio, and so we are. What is that? 2 states, 3 states, Ohio, Indiana. Yeah, 3 states, two, whatever, bunch of states in between. So, Rowan, tell me, what would you say is your favorite part of the book? I know you like the part where they first find the chest, but after that, which of the stories where they go back in time? Which one is your favorite story? Which one?
It's probably Noah's Ark because I kind of like how they got separated from the dog, but they found her.
Mhm. Yeah, that Noah's Ark story. Speaking of Noah's Ark, when I put the book up on Amazon, I put it in a category that included Noah's Ark, and as a result, dun 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 dun, Think Say Believe became a bestseller. So let me scroll through these so we can see these posts. First, this is the actual book cover. For those of you who haven't seen it, woo, 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 I know it. Stephanie L. Krah, PhD, and Rowan Lemons, and went a while defining her professional name. And because she earned that degree, I wanted to make sure that was conspicuously put out there. And then I think Say Believe is the first book in this is the first book in the I Think I Say I Believe series. So, Doc, talk a little bit about that branding that we had to go through to develop the series banner.
Yeah, that particular process of one making the decision, or I think, well, me and Rowan knew that we wanted to have multiple books, and I don't know if I ever told you, Miss Valerie, how that I think I say I believe came to be. I don't know if we have time for me to share that particular journey, like how we came to that particular.
Please do.
Uh, yeah, so it's funny. So Rowan and her mom and I were walking, decided to go to a park that's not too far from her house. And so Rowan, being funny and silly, she decided to, I can't remember how we had her, she wanted to run like this lap around this park. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to time you. So she ran around the lap and she came back and I gave her time. And then she ran around again, and because she said, I think I could do it faster. She ran around again and I gave her a time and I said, you did it faster. She's like, okay, one more time. So she came around again and she had did it faster. And I said, well, how did you come to do this faster? She said, well, first I thought about it. And then I said to myself, I can do it. And then I believed I can do it. And I said, yeah, that's faith. And so me and her mom were talking to her about faith. So that's how we decided this. I think I say I believe from that particular experience she had. So that was just, even coming to this point of having this book, it was about a faith, just a small action that she did that brought that particular title. So, yeah, I wanted to make sure I
I
shared
like
that.
that. That's a great story. Had I known that, we might have rolled that into the introduction or something.
I couldn't remember if I had told you that, but it popped into my mind when you were talking about the banner.
Absolutely. So talk about our process of developing the banner itself and how important it was to make sure we had that in place.
Yeah, the banner process, one, making sure that, it was, once again, looking at multiple children's books, and especially books that were multi-series or multi-volume books, and identifying, okay, if there is a consistent title, what would be the image, the way the words are, what is something that could potentially go through the process of continuing on. And so that was something that I remember us identifying, that I think I say, by, I believe, is the overarching, like, this will carry forward even if we change the different book titles. And so going through that process of picking the right chest, and how the words would be angled into the chest, which goes along with the story of the characters, having this interaction with this faith box. So just being intentional on colors and making sure that it does pop, but it doesn't overwhelm size, and that whole entire process. Like I told Ms. Valerie, I'm not publishing any books. I'm the writer. So she can do all the work of telling me size and all of that. But it was just the experience of, having an essence of the theme, but that is something that would carry out as we go from book to book in this faith box, or this treasure, this chest of sorts, would be carried on throughout.
Absolutely. And that's important for the branding. And we mentioned a couple other series. I think it was called the Treehouse series. We did a little research on that, and the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and a couple of other ones, and use those again back to that research as guides to kind of say, okay, what's consistent here? The font, the color, the placement, the images, the style, all of that comes together for that series branding, so that if somebody sees your book, even before they can see the title, book number 29, they're like, ooh, this is, I think I say I believe book, because you've already built that brand recognition. So that is a very important aspect publishing. And yeah, we did that. And I was going to ask you about that, because when I tell you, so Dr. Stephanie invested in mentoring in addition to the publishing, because she has these books, a series of books she wants to do. And it makes sense. You save money, you learn the process, and then you can do the next one yourself. We had our first mentoring class. She was basically said, girl, bye. I am not doing all this work. You do all this for all your clients? Yeah, I do. You're like, I'm staying in my lane. I was not called to do this. We're gonna ride together for life. I said, okay, I'm not mad about it. But that made me happy on the inside. Not that you chose to go with me to publish, but the fact that you acknowledged all the work that goes into publishing a quality book. But not just a quality book, y'all, a book that debuts. This is the only book. I've published 185 authors. Your book is the first book to debut as a bestseller before it even drops. I was like, wait a minute. I was on Amazon getting ready, I think for one of the training or something. And I said, what? No, it's not even dropped yet. So this book debuted as number one new release in children's Noah's books. So basically books about Noah on Amazon. So Rowan and Dr. Stephanie are not just best-selling number one. That's a big deal. Because when Dr. Stephanie and I looked at the other books, there are books that have been in that particular category. One was like 2012, and they had 3,000 reviews, and your book beat that book out. Like, what? Look at God. Look at God. That's all I can say is look at God. Number one. And then when we zoomed in, because I tell my clients, look, the people want receipts. I don't even know if young people still say they want the receipts, but we got the receipts to show that this book was number one on Amazon, and here it is in the number one ranking. Amazon hot new release. When I tell you, that made me so happy. Glory to his name. Congratulations to both of you. I think that's just amazing that you ladies put in the work. It's easy to publish a book, but it takes time to publish a quality book. And you ladies invested the time, you listened to the Lord, and you work together to make sure that the product that you produce is phenomenal. So, Rowan, I have a question for you. Have you looked at the exercises in the back of the book, the activity? What do we call that? Treasure seekers? What's the name of the activity? Faith finders.
Faith finders.
Ron, have you tried to do any of those faith finder activities?
I actually didn't notice it yet.
You did the Noah one?
Yeah, I
So the
didn't
faith finder
notice it.
activity is on page 117. Okay. And what Dr. Krah and Rowan did was they took each of the chapters, 5 chapters. What does the number 5 mean in the Bible?
Grace. Do you know it, Rowan?
Grace. It's the number of grace. I was waiting to see if she had a lag. It might have been a lag, but the number of grace. So there are 5 chapters. You knew that, or did your auntie just tell you the answer? It's okay.
He told me.
And she took each of those chapters and put what faith finder activities in the back, asking the children questions about what happened in the Bible, using some scripture references in there for them to fill in the blanks and study true, false questions, multiple choice, fill in the blanks. It's such a great activity. Unscramble the words. It was such a great activity. And now, Dr. Stephanie, I know that you have added, you're going to have an extension of that activity available. Is that going to be available on the website? Is it already available?
Yeah, it'll be available on the website by the launch date so that folks can explore how to do additional things, additional activities, because we would love for, if you're thinking about buying a book, if you're connected with the church, have your Sunday school buy multiple books. And then we're looking at a companion piece that would allow for additional activities to be done with, your Sunday school class, little group Bible study, or even at some of our faith-based schools. This could be a nice lesson on faith and in multiple things. So yeah, that will be available on the website by our launch date of November 1st.
Congratulations. And November 1st is the day after tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten your copy yet, go to Amazon.com. Now that's just through November the 1st, because after that, we really want you to buy the book from the author directly. But if you get the book by November the 1st, then they have a chance of hitting the bestsellers list in another category, which would be phenomenal. And then the ebook is also on the Amazon. And Dr. Stephanie's page is Amazon.com/author/Stephanie L. Krah. And then that way you can see the ebook. We talked about an audiobook. Rowan, would you be interested in being the voice of maybe Aurora in the audiobook? Oh,
Sure.
She's like, okay, if you say I have to. I think that would be amazing. So the activity book will be available on the website, Think, Say, Believe, November the 1st. And it's an extension of what's already in the book. Because the one we have in the book is maybe 10 or 12 pages. This one is going to add more depth to that. And like Dr. Stephanie said, then you have the opportunity to invite them. All right, Miss Betty. Thank you, Miss Betty. And thank you, Miss B.D. Brown. We appreciate your support. She said, ordered. Yes, we appreciate your support. All right, so we talked about the audiobook. The ebook is also available on Amazon Books, and you have the bookmarks. I understand that Ms. Rowan has been very active in marketing the book. Rowan, what kind of things have you done to tell people about your book?
So in my school, I went first to fifth grade, they advertised my book, and then I advertised it a bit more in my class too. And then kids at my after school, I gave some bookmarks to them. And there was also a fall fest at my school, and my mom brought some
Very,
bookmarks.
very good. So Rowan has been very active in promoting her book because she was so much involved in the process. She's a bestseller, and she wants people to understand faith from God's perspective. It was really good. I really love the fact that in the book you have Abraham and Aurora even witnessing to a young man and talking to him about the Lord, and he gives his life to the Lord. It's such a great witnessing tool as well. You know, you pull the kids in to read the story, they learn about family, they learn about friends, they learn about school situations because Aurora has an auntie who does not play. When the kids want to try to talk crazy to her niece and tell her what she can and cannot do and cannot be, auntie's like, wait a minute. Is that you, Dr. Stephanie? Is that you at Rowan? Very protective?
Yes, 100%. Her mother will tell you if I hear about certain situations, I try to make sure I talk to the Lord first, but sometimes I have to have a let me be clear moment. What's going on? Do I need to come to the school? What's happening? Because I'm not gonna mess with my Rowan. She's a sweetheart. So anybody that picks on her, then I'm asking questions.
I kind of figured when I read that part of the book, I said, I bet that is her auntie. Well, I said Dr. Stephanie, standing in defense of her baby girl, loving on her. That's wonderful. I think the dynamic, the relationship between you two is great. I've not seen you, of course, I've not seen you interact together. This is our first time all together. But I could tell by the way the story flowed that you were the auntie protecting your little niece. And just the empowerment in the story, like with Aurora in that particular situation in the classroom, her confidence elevated, her esteem elevated because her aunt reassured her that she can be and do whatever she wants to be and do. And the fact that her brother was there, he had her back. He was kind of off to the side, but he had her back, like, I got you, boo. You're not in this by yourself. All of those minute elements come together to make this a book that is great about family dynamics, friendship. Now, I will say, Dr. Krah, when I first read the book, or no, when I saw the first illustration, I think it was, no, it couldn't have been the illustration. When I first read the manuscript and you talked about little Abraham pulling on his blonde hair, I about had a fit. Wait a minute. Why are his parents dyeing that baby's hair and he's not even 10 years old yet? I was like, oh my gosh, why are they dyeing his hair, blonde hair? Because I know he's a brown baby. But then you
Mhm.
explained to me. So tell me the reason why this.
Yeah. So that particular piece, I was educated by, because when Rowan had mentioned about, because she literally, when it came to the characters and what they look like, I asked Rowan, and she said blonde hair, and I said what? Because I had the same reaction. So her mom let me know that there is a particular um, a particular culture, which is called the Malaysian culture. And I had never researched, had never learned anything about this group of people. So actually, Malaysian people are in Africa. So if you actually Google uh, Africans with blonde hair and like blue eyes, you will find the Malaysian people. And there's a whole context about it, which we go into in the early part of the book, that the Malaysian people, they immigrated from Africa thousands of years ago, and they settled along the southern edge of Asia. And it's just their complexions are various shades. You'll have a lighter complected Malaysian person, you'll have a Malaysian person that's darker complected, but they have blonde hair. So that's where, when because I was confused, I said, Rowan, you don't have blonde hair, your father don't have blonde hair, your mama don't have blonde hair, what we doing here? So her mom had to educate me, and then that caused me to go and research a little more, which we do provide that description for children in the book.
Absolutely. So we're getting some more signal issues, but we claim in the name of Jesus that this is going to flow smooth. And then you clarified for me. So we incorporated that more of that into the manuscript so that the readers understood. I think it's actually even in the introduction where Abraham is talking about
Mhm.
himself, because he has characteristics that's from his father's side of the family. I can't remember.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes,
Great, great,
father's
great.
side.
That's awesome. So, okay, very good, very good. Now, Rowan, I asked you, I didn't want to keep you up past your bedtime. You said your bedtime is what, dear?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about Rowan in school. What is your favorite subject in school?
Art. My art teacher is really nice and I have a lot of fun.
Okay, so writing a book is art. So that's called literary artist. Woo! And you're a best-selling literary artist. I'm going to say that probably 20 more times before this interview is over because that is amazing to me that an elementary school student debuted her first book is a bestseller. Number one. Amazing. And she's doing the work to let the people know in her school that she's done it. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you, Rowan. I am so proud of you. You just don't know. I'm over here beaming.
Thank
I
you.
told her Mimi is my grandma name. I'm beaming like she's my grandchild. Let me tell you something. I am proud of you and your auntie for what you all have done with this amazing book. We got some great endorsements for the book as well. Well, I didn't get them. Dr. Stephanie got them. Let me read a couple of these endorsements. I guided her into what to do, but she worked to get these endorsements. As part of the Publishing Queen Bee Publishing plan is to help with not just packaging the book, but what it's going to take to help market and get the book out there to the world. So this educator and grandmother, Laverne Williams, said Abraham is confused about this faith thing and wants no part of it. But Quest with his sister and their dog explanation of faith and love of family make I think I say I believe in age appropriate must read. Well done. Woohoo! Well done. I'm excited. And then we have an elementary school teacher. I'm probably not going to say this right. Annette Tapia. She said,
Um,
anyone, did I say her name wrong, baby?
it's Anatopia.
Oh, Annette Tapia. Okay, thank you. I'm thinking tilapia, the fish. Tapia. Okay. She said, I think I say I believe is a heartwarming story about understanding faith. Anyone looking to help a child comprehend this biblical principle can do it through Abraham and Aurora's wonderful sibling. Then there is a executive pastor did a summary, and a director of student ministry, Dr. Rowan. Okay, we're gonna speak that thing, Dr. Rowan. Dr. Krah did the work to identify people who would help then to help magnify the message of the book. So, Rowan, do you know what other stories, what other biblical principles do you want to teach in other books? That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm really not sure at the moment.
That's okay. What biblical principle would you like to learn? So when I say biblical principle, like faith, love, hope, trust,
Like a Bible story?
what's a Bible story? What do you have a favorite?
I think I would want to do
Yeah,
Deborah.
like what would be your I didn't hear you. Can you say it again for me?
I think I will want to do Deborah.
Okay, Judge Deborah. I think Rowan wants to be a judge or an attorney because if Aurora was serious about being a judge. Do you want to be a judge when you grow up,
Like
Rowan?
a lawyer, judge.
Okay, I thought so. I could tell the way you all wrote the book is so well written. I could tell that parts of it were who you are, which is that's a great marking of a writer. You put a little piece of you in the book, and it makes it more believable, more relatable to people. That's wonderful. So, Dr. Krah, what other? I know we talked about it. What other biblical principles are you looking to do in subsequent series, books in the series?
Yeah, I think that one of the principles of confidence, I think, is important when we think about so much that children are going through right
Mm,
now, and the things that are happening in this world. Is very easy to be fearful. And so I think boldness, confidence, self-esteem. I mean, when we look at
mm,
different, throughout the Bible, you have different examples of bullying, and with some characters, when you think of,
mm.
for instance, Joseph and his brothers, he's the little brother, so he kind of got, picked on and bullied, and how that, calls for his journey to be a certain way. And so, how can our children overcome? If they have been picked on, how can they overcome that? How can they look at a story such as Joseph's, and that the bullying he experienced actually led to him being second in command in Egypt? And so being able to connect those principles for children, even at a young age, I think is important, because some of these principles I didn't get until I was older. So I would say confidence, boldness, I think love.
Mm,
That's another one. Um, I think that there's so
mm,
many children and adults as well that have love misunderstood, or love has not been shown in a healthy way. But as we look at the Word of God, we could see how
mm,
the sacrifice of Christ was out of sheer love, and how it's important for us to understand that at a young age. I think about in my own life, like I was afraid of God, like not reverential fear, like I was afraid, like, and I didn't understand the love of God. And so it wasn't until I was
mm,
older. And if I
mm,
would have had something like this
mm,
book when I was younger to help me connect that principle, then there's probably some things and some decisions that I may not have made as a young adult and an adult, by having some of those things. So I would say those are some principles that I really would love to for us to dive into, and even some things that a couple of stories that are already coming in my mind as we think about the second book. So I'm about to be like, Miss Valerie, when can we start on the second one? I know we're gonna ride this one out for a minute, but I already have some thoughts on some stories.
Absolutely, I agree. No, those are good. Like Miss BD says, love is an important one, and confidence and bullying, and all of those were touched on briefly, indirectly in the first book. So building on it, for the next 10, 20, we claiming, a 50 book series. Heck, we don't have to stop at one or two, because this could become Rowan's full-time profession, going around the country as an attorney/judge, empowering children to love God, love themselves, and be kind to one another. Yes, I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, you ladies, I tell you again, I'm just beaming with pride. I can't, and not like the haughty pride. I'm proud of you for what you've done, because I really enjoyed the book, and the love that you two share with each other, and then the communication, which is a significant byproduct to this author relationship, is there has to be effective communication. So I know at times you would send Rowan the book, and she would read it and want to make changes, and add these pictures here and do this and do that. So So she was very together from the writing and then the feedback phases, which is great. Partially during the pandemic. Well, as far as I'm concerned, we still in the pandemic because I still wear my mask when I'm out. But you know what I mean. Back a ways,
Mhm.
back a ways. So, Dr. Krah, so we talked about what you're looking at for future books in the series. I'm interested to know more about what you do as an educator. What is it that you do in your day job, shall we say?
Yeah, so I work at Washtenaw Community College in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and right now I am the acting chief community development officer slash executive director of College Access and Success. A very long title, but the main focus of my work at the time when I started this book, I was in a different role, but even now, really being able to connect and engage with the community and provide opportunities for individuals who live and work in a community to, empower them through the academic journey. By having education as a resource to what they want to do next in their life. So that has been really, I would say, a center focus of a lot of my work throughout time. I just love being an educator. I love working with people to support others' goals and dreams to do more in their life. So that is my day job in a nutshell.
Good stuff, good stuff. So you are serious about educating and serving young people as young as Rowan and even to college level to think, say, believe better for themselves, which is powerful. So it is who you are. It's not just something you're talking about doing. Now, I
100%.
saw something on Facebook, a post that said, I think it said Media Blitz or Launch Blitz or something like that. I said, look at my client doing the dang thing. She putting together flyers, posting on social media, doing interviews now. So, what else do you have planned in the marketing and promotions of the Astounding Faith Adventures of Abraham and Aurora?
Yes, so doing some direct text messages with I went through my phone and all of my peoples as much as I can remember. I went through and posted this. We do have an Instagram page, which is I believe underscore the book, and so using Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. I did a couple of pop up video opportunities working with, looking to work with a couple of folks that have done blogs and promoting books. So by multiple means, connecting also with folks who are pastors of churches to share out the book and potentially be able to have those opportunities to connect with their congregations about opportunities in youth ministries. So I just whatever is popping up. We're also looking at in the future some merchandise, really promoting this message of faith for young people. So using a lot of different modes as much as possible to get out the message about this book.
That's good. That's great. And yeah, you have to kind of like try different tentacles and see which ones work. Social media is great, a great way to let people know about your book, this interview. It's a great tool. And then, like you said, interviews and blogs. I just sent you today an email with some bookstore information for children's bookstores and a person who always features my authors, my Queen Bee authors. I'm so excited about that. So I sent you that. You can check that out. Some read aloud options. And then I'm going to have you come to my church in Dayton, Ohio, the fantastic Revival Center Ministries International, and have you all possibly talk to the young people or at least come and do a signing at the church. We'll wait until after the new year because I know I don't like doing too much of anything January, February, and I don't want y'all on the highway in those months. But also, I wanted to let you know that on July, oh, I forgot the date, the last Saturday in July, I'm going to host the first When I See Me BIPOC Children's Book Fair, and you all have to be there for that. I'm looking to have anywhere from 25 to 50 authors, with books specifically for children of color, woo, woo, as the main character, and going to have workshops and all kind of other activities going on. It'll be a one-day event, and that's going to be the end of July 2020, the last Saturday in July. I just got my logo confirmed a few minutes ago, and not long enough to be able to post it on here. It's beautiful. Love it. So I'm going to update my website. Right now, it just points to my children's book, but that web page right there will be the book fair. And of course, Doc, I'll let you know about it. Hopefully, Rowan, you can come and sign copies of the book together. That will be so cute. I'll work to get you ladies some media attention while you're here. And maybe that's you go to the church the following day just to save time on the trip, make it one single trip. But we'll figure all that out. Well, ladies, we are almost at the end of our hour. Dr. Well, I'm going to call you Stephanie. Honey, I'm going to be respectful. You earned that PhD. Rowan, what would you like to say to people about your book before I send you off to bed?
I mean, I think that you should really buy it because it's really good, especially with kids, I think, to understand faith better. And I think even if you're an adult, it would be really fun to read.
I'm an adult. Let me tell you, I'm not going to tell you my age. I'm old enough to be your grandmama. And it was fun for me to read. That is a very great point. It was fun for adults. It's fun for children. You can have quality time with your babies while you're reading the book to them or letting them read it to you, because it's not a difficult read at all. I would say it's a chapter book. Now, my grandbaby was reading chapter books at 7. So I think children 6 years old and older can read the book and enjoy the book because it was such a great read. Rowan, that was such a great point. Thank you so much for sharing. Dr. Krah. Oh, yes. Now, is Cassandra your sister?
Yes, Cassandra Crowd, my sister.
Well, thank you for joining,
Yes,
sis.
yes, she's a talent in amazing ways herself. So yes, I one of my best critics, but amazing supporters. So yeah, and my mom there and
Amen.
friends. So yeah, yes, yes.
Was your sister on your team? I know we talked about a power team. Were they included on your team for feedback and comments? And
I did not have them. I don't think I had my. I mean, yes, actually, early on, I remember reading it to them or having them read it. But my cousin Lashonda,
Mhm.
I actually had her through the process. One of the things I'll have to once again shout out and pub Queen V Publishing. I will forever be grateful for Ms. Valerie. I told her because I've written a book before, but this experience for me was so transformational. Anybody that wants to write a book, you need to do it
Mm.
through Queen Bee Publishing, period. Um, so, one of the processes that Ms. Valerie had me do was she told me to print out my manuscript and to go through and read it and do edits. I'm like, when she first said it to me, I said, we are in 20 at the time, I think it was in 2021 or 20, I said we are in 2022. Why can I not just attach some comment bubbles and we can do this? And I'd asked my cousin Lashonda to go through the book for me and to help me with the comments and edits, so she got a chance to read it early on as well. But it's been a family event. I have definitely appreciated their support and journey to just encourage me and support me along the way. And so yeah, it's been amazing. I'm happy. I'm happy to be done ish. I'm happy to see it at its like at its stage, like holding it, and I carry around copies.
Mhm.
So I'm happy to be at this point, but I'm also like I want to now get ready to write the next one. So, but I'm like trying to let this one just launch first and then get to next. So yes, my family has been great.
Absolutely. Well, it's good. I have a lot of clients who, writing as their marketing, it can be a challenge because writing is right brain and marketing gets to be left brain. It's doable, but it's not for the readers to love the book and like, where's the next book? And 5, 10 years later. I'm a witness to that because I got a book that came out in 2010. It needs a sequel, and people have been asking me for a sequel. Now, Jacob worked 14 years for his wife, Rachel, or Leah. Which one did he? Rachel. Right. I'm
Richard.
not trying to be like Jacob. I'm not trying to work 14 years. That's not I'm not gonna do that. So I got Dr. Crop. Now I don't remember how we met. I know you said someone told you about me, but who was this
Yeah,
person? Is
it's
it
funny.
someone I know personally?
I don't know. So I don't know who they like know them by name. My mom worked with somebody and they mentioned one of your book events. And then I think I had, so they mentioned one of your book events, and then I think I went on the
Oh.
social media and I had watched one of your lives with some of your authors. And so you kept being in the back of my mind. And I'm like, okay, if I write this book, I'm thinking about it. And one of a former church member a woman I went to church with, she had published a book, I think it was a couple years ago, and she used a publisher. I reached out to them and it was like there was something in me that wasn't feeling it. They've done amazing with her book and she's doing another, but it just, for me, it wasn't. So I
Mm.
remembered my mom, the guy that worked with my mom, mentioning you. And then I had seen all the authors that people, like people I know, that you have published their books. And so I said, okay, if this person has worked with her and everything, she legit, she's good. Then I talked to you for the first time. I just fell in love. I said, this is gonna be my, she gonna be my Mimi, but my Mimi publisher. So no, that's how I got connected to you by other third party individuals.
That's great. That word of mouth. And I found out from a social media post that you're cousins with a friend of mine from church who I lovingly refer to as Chocolate Elvis. Because one day he came to shoes on, and he's been Chocolate Elvis ever since.
Yes,
Lafayette Billingsley. He saw a post. I don't know if it was my post or your post, but he said he calls me Valley Valley or Val Girl, Val Gal. Val Gal, that's my cousin. I was like, quit playing.
yes,
Small world, small world. Yeah.
yes, for
Well, thank
sure.
you so much. I appreciate you entrusting me to publish your book. Company that I use is Pen of the Writer. That's the name of my company. That's based off of Judges 5:14 because it's important to me. God called me to do this. I have to do it in excellence and I have to do it in integrity. I ain't trying to get in trouble with Jesus or Rowan if I don't do right by this book, right? So we're going to do what needs to be done. So thank you so much. Tell your mom I said thank you. And that gentleman, whoever he might be, tell him I said thank you very much for the referral. Yeah, hopefully we can connect you guys whenever you come to Dayton. So in closing, Rowan, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say to maybe there's a young reader or a young writer out there who doesn't think that they can write a book like you wrote.
Well, I would probably tell another kid is that they can do it if they believe that they can. Like the title of the series, I think I say I believe. They should believe that they can do it because I was just like 6, 7 when we started, and now I'm 10. So, like, it takes a while, but I think you could do it with the correct help.
This young lady is phenomenal with her responses. Rowan, you've done such a great job on this interview. Well, you answer well, you're attentive, you are just amazing. Mimi's adding another baby to her roster, and her name is Rowan. I can't wait to meet you in person so we can hug and talk about how wonderful you are. I'm so impressed. Oh my gosh.
Thank
Rowan is
you.
phenomenal. Girl, you say you're 10 years old. She said, I started when I was 6, but now I'm 10. Yeah, it's a process. It takes a little time to write it, to edit it, to do everything it takes to get it done correctly. You were patient. Maybe that's one of the book's the a character we can teach in one of those stories. Everything right now, when I want it, how I want it, the way I want it. And that's it. All right, Dr. Krah, any last words for your fans, friends, and followers?
Yes, I would say get this book in your hand, in the hand of a child that you know. I know that some people will say, well, I don't have any children. You have a neighbor, you have a person on your job that has a child. My mother, I shout out, I love my mother so much. She supports me. She bought 10 books and she's like sharing them with other people. And I think I appreciate that. And that's what you can do as well. This is an opportunity to really introduce faith at a young age. I mean, just think about where you are in your life right now. And, if you could go back to your younger self and tell them about faith, what would you tell them? Well, you don't have to figure it out on your own. We've given you a book that you can, give to your younger self, or i.e., a child that you see similar to your younger self. So it's almost Christmas time as well. So instead of giving that toy, maybe give this book. So that's something that is so important to us, to put faith in the lives, introduce it for children now, especially with our world being what it is. If they don't believe in something greater, which we believe in God, that's going to be important, and they need to. So go out, order it today, pre-order on Amazon, and continue to visit us on our website, thinkssaybelieve.com. And lastly, if you are planning to publish a book, I'm going to keep saying it. I need to get a shirt that says "Publish with Queen V Publishing," because that process was seriously, it stretched me. I'll say that it stretched me as a writer, and it humbled me in a lot of great ways. So I appreciate that process. And we're going to ride it till the wheels fall off, which they not falling off. So I'm excited on that journey. So yes, that's all.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. You were a fantastic client, teachable. You did the work. We stayed in communication. It was a great process. So this was a smooth process. I enjoyed it. And maybe something you all can do for Halloween. A young lady interviewed me years ago for my children's book, and it was her idea. This might be a great one. Is I don't know if you do candy. I don't give kids candy for Halloween. I'm turn off my lights, all that other stuff, because the devil's night or whatever. However, maybe you can drop bookmarks in their candy bag. They're thinking they're getting some candy. You drop one of them bookmarks in there, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, what the what? This is a book." A great way to get the message out to young kids, because that's who's going to be traveling the neighborhood. Put bookmarks in their book bag, in their candy bags, and then you never know, they may enjoy the book and purchase it. Well, ladies, I appreciate you so much. This was a great interview. I got to get back to doing these interviews again. I haven't done them in a while. I enjoyed the comments from your family, friends, and Facebook fans. And Rowan, again, Mimi is proud of you. I can't wait to meet you in person and give you a hug. And Dr. Krah, just thought about this. Whenever you and Rowan are together, you might want to have her autograph some of the books that you're going to be selling, so that they have her autograph is already in it. I do that with my grandbabies when they're here. I make them sit down and just sign their names only, and get a whole bunch of the books ready for them. So that way people are like, "Oh my gosh, the child autographed it too." Yup, she did. See, I'm always dropping ideas. Well, all right,
I love
ladies,
it.
I appreciate you. This was a great interview. Like Dr. Cross said, you can get the book, you get the ebook on Amazon. If you get it by November the 1st, then it can be in the running for another best-selling status. Her Amazon page is amazon.com/author/Stephanie L. Krah. It keeps popping in and out. I apologize. Amazon.com/author/Stephanie L. Krah. You got to put that L in there. You won't get to the right page. That's her Amazon page. And then if you want the autographed copy of the book, because you can't get it autographed off of, and you want to get the activity book that's going to be expanded beyond what's in the book right now, visit thinkssaybelieve.com. We are so excited. Thank you, Miss BD Brown and Miss Betty Leslie and Cassandra Craw. Thank you so much for your feedback, your comments. And if you haven't already, please share this post so other people will see what's going on with the I Think, I Say, I Believe book. An amazing book, a bestseller. Did I say I was proud of Rowan? Did I say that? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm proud.
Thank
You all be
you.
blessed.
Thank you.